Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is what is today? Today is Wednesday, August 14th. It is 6:22. We got market opening up shortly in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish marking up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Thursday, actually. Sorry guys. Thursday, August 14th. Man, this week's flying by. So let me go ahead and finish marking up the liquidity over here, go up to the daily. And we'll get started shortly with this week, with this trading day. All right. And this week's flying by. I didn't realize today was Thursday already. Yeah, I swear I thought today was Wednesday. Anyways, let me go ahead and finish marking this up here. Hour, 4 hour here. On down to the 2 hour. Down to the 1 hour. 30 minute. 15. Down to the 10. And back down to the 1 minute here. So, all right, guys, looks like we're good to go. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 14th. It is 6:24 right now. We got market opening up in about 6 minutes. Let's see who's here so far. Hey, Ken, morning. Welcome to the live stream. Morning, Karen. Morning, Shiv. Morning, Steven. Morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. I've marked up liquidity over here, guys. We have liquidity on both sides. You guys can see the big spike over here at 5:30. This was PPI news, which was producer price index. Big spike to the downside right there. Which was expected. So we got news right there. And after that push to the downside right here, price started consolidating sideways. So looking over here at the overall trend, let's take a look. The 1 minute's currently bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish. You can see here that price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are angling to the downside. So this is indicating that we should probably look for some sells here on the lower time frames. Higher time frames over here, the 4 hour, 1 hour, and 30 minute price here was above the pivots on pretty much the 4 hour and 1 hour. It's still above the pivots. The trend meter is green and pivots are angling up. So it's still bullish on these higher time frames. However, over here on the 30 minute price shifted a little bit. So price is now below the pivots. The trend meter is blue and the pivots are angling to the downside. So with that said, we have lower time frames up until the 30 minute, which is bearish to neutral, which over here on the 1 hour and 4 hour is currently bullish. So with that being said, we have a bit of a mixed bias here with regard to the lower time frames and the higher time frames. So we'll have to see how price kind of moves here once market opens up to identify the actual direction. Um, Looking over here at my market screener, it's currently a little bit mixed as well. The 1 minute is currently strong bearish, 5 minute, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minute, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is bullish. So that being said, we do have a bit of a mixed bias here across the board. We'll keep looking to see what happens here when market opens up. If we don't have much of a directional bias overall, then we're just not going to be looking to take the orb for today. If you guys do want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys. Right now, it's probably going to look like a sell orb, but we'll kind of play by ear because right now price is kind of ranging within this zone over here. And you don't really want to be taking trades when prices ranging like that, right? You want to be focused on a directional move. So with that said, let me see if there's any structure here that I should mark up at the moment. Okay, so we got some structure up here. Structure right there, there, structure right there. All right, so we'll see. This is kind of where price is ranging from right now. So we'll kind of see how this ends up, moving along the way when price opens up in a few minutes. Um, yeah, we'll kind of identify where this ends up going. So let's see who else is here so far. Morning, Sam. Morning, Daniel. Morning, everybody. We got market opening up in about 2 minutes. If you guys are looking to take the momentum breakout is looking like it's possibly going to be a sell. So we'll know in the next minute what the momentum breakout's going to be. Um, but it is looking like a sell. We have sell momentum here. Unless we get a buy signal, which comes up on this candle, it's going to be a sell for today. So if you guys want to take the momentum breakout, it's going to be a sell. I'll be looking for possible orb after, and then we'll go from there. Clean this up a little bit right here. Looks like there's a possible sweep around this area. The support level right here slash order block slash demand, depending on what you guys want to call it and consider it. Again, looking over here at the lower time frames, price is currently bearish. Price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. 30 minutes neutral, 4 hour and 1 hour are bullish. So with that said, a little bit mixed right there. Again, our market structure over here is pretty mixed as well. 1 minute's bearish, 15 minutes neutral, 30-minute, 1 hour is bearish, 4 hours bullish. We got price bouncing off the structure right here. Looking like the momentum breakout is going to be a sell for anybody who's looking to take that. So we'll be looking for a price here. I mean, price can really go in either direction, guys. So you might want to be careful with this because you can see this big spike right here. What might happen is price might manipulate back to the upside here to fill this push to the downside pre-market, and then it might come right back down, right? Or the opposite here might happen. Price may continue here on open to the downside, and then it may correct back up after, right? So we got a bit of a mixed bag here. So take everything at your own risk right now, guys. Be a little careful with this here, and we'll go from there. So momentum breakout is coming up shortly in about 3 seconds, and market is now open right here, guys. So I will mark this up right here as opening price. I'll be looking for the possible orb here, of course, but we'll follow through and see where this ends up going. So we got price pushing down right here. The momentum breakout is pushing in profit right there for a sell. If you guys want to move your stop loss in profit once it gets to the halfway mark, which I think it did already, you guys can. Let's go over here real quick. All right, so we got this right here. This is going to be the orb high, current orb low right there. All right, so like I said, we got price here kind of bouncing back and forth right now. There's not like one specific direction that price is going. So it's going to be a little tricky here to look for entry. So if you guys are looking to take the orb right now, guys, the orb here is it's starting to set up. We have the orb low, which is currently pending right now, 44,803. So we got the orb high right here, orb low. It's not established yet, but it is currently pending at the moment. So we got price kind of bouncing through this area here right now. All right, so if this here ends up closing, the orb low is going to be down here. Ideally, I'd probably look for some sells here because of the market structure and because of the current lower time frame trend. But again, it doesn't mean that price has to go in that direction, right? Price can easily go up as well. All right, so the orb high is going to be right here at 44,861. The orb low right here is going to be at 44,803. Again, the bias and the trend here is a little mixed. You can see over here for my screener, it's pretty mixed. Bearish, bullish, neutral, bearish, bearish, bullish. So a little bit mixed right there. The momentum breakout over here is pushing. It's almost at its target right there for 50 points. Full TP right there for the momentum breakout if you guys took that. Again, I'm going to be looking at price here as it closes below this point. 44,803 is going to be the price point for entry. 44,803. I'm looking at price action here. If this here doesn't end up closing very strongly below it, so I need it to actually close below it here, like really below it, not on the line, right? Right here, price is kind of sitting at the line. I don't like that, right? We don't want price action to be sitting right there. We want price to be moving, breaking, retesting, and closing lower. So right here, I don't like how I just tested that and bounced off it. That's not a good sign because it's showing that there's not a lot of power here to push price below, right? We need that power there to really push below, retest, and come back down lower. But again, if you guys take the momentum breakout, full TP right there for the 50-50. If you guys want to go for the full 100 or double it to 100, you guys can, but the full TP here has already been hit. So the momentum breakout win for the day. Orb over here has still not came up yet. So price broke past this low, but has not actually closed below it. So we had a break, but no close. So no entry there. If price breaks and closes past this orb high, there can be an entry here for a buy. But again, like I said earlier, the overall trend here is still bearish with regard to the lower time frame. So buys here are going to be out of the question for me. I'm not really going to look for a buy here right now. If you guys do want to take the buy, I mean, feel free to take it at your own risk. But like I said, I'm going in the direction of the trend, the direction of my bias. The bias right now is not very strong, at least not for a buy. It's leaning more towards a sell than a buy right now. Higher time frames though are still bullish. So I mean, there's no reason for price not to push up, but there's also not a good reason for it to push up yet. So we got price pushing around this area right now. Um, Again, if you're looking to take this right here, guys, this may be the break and close past the orb high. But like I said earlier, guys, my biases right now are not pointing towards a buy. So I'm not really looking to take a buy here at the moment. If you guys want to take this, yeah, you're waiting for it to break and close past this blue line, which is 44,861. I'll follow it for you guys here, but I'm not going to take this here for an orb. But it's technically an orb if you guys are looking to take it. It's just not in the direction of the trend, and I tend to trade in the direction of the trend or the overall bias. So here we go. It looks like price is going to close. Your entry is going to be at 44,861. Not going to take it, but I'll follow it with you guys here. All right, so it is currently pending right now. If you guys want to enter this position, put your pending limit right there at 44,861. Again, I'm not in this position myself. I will be following it for you guys. Here's the things to look at here. If this here pulls down and fills it, you'll be in the position. If this here pushes up and hits target first before filling it, then there's no entry. But there you go. The trade is currently active. I'm not in this position here. Like I said, my overall trend and bias is still bearish. So I don't feel comfortable taking buys here, at least not yet, because there's been no confirmation of an actual shift in trend. So we'll see. All right, price is pushing up and it looks like the orb is a full TP right there. If you guys caught that, great work. If you guys didn't catch it, it's completely fine. I'll be looking for the next entry here as price continues to move along. So full TP right there, guys, for the orb if you guys caught that. I was tempted to take it, but like I said, my bias over here wasn't very strong for a buy, so I just did not take the trade there. But full TP right there. Daniel got it. Nice work. Yeah, I was tempted to take it, but again, like I said, the things here just did not line up with what I was looking for. Nice work, Shiv. Shiv got it. Daniel got it. A couple of you guys here got it. So full TP right there on the orb. So if you guys took either breakout for today, the orb over here for full TP for a buy, and then also the momentum breakout over here, full TP for a sell. So winners in both directions right here. Momentum orb or momentum breakout, full TP. Orb entry over here for a buy, full TP. And we'll keep looking over here for the next opportunity. Nice work, Shiv. Yeah, Shiv said had a poor couple weeks, did dumb stuff, lost a lot of accounts, but finally broke through. Still pushing. Let's go. Yeah, 100% Shiv. I mean, it happens. You got to understand that's the market, and as long as you don't get knocked down too much and you don't get too discouraged, you'll be able to bounce back. Especially if you're trading with us here, because our main goal here is really consistency and discipline. So nice work on that recovery. We'll be looking for the next trade over here as price continues to move along. Chris said took the momentum orb and orb, but only one account. Nice. Nice work, Chris. Yeah, profit's profit right there. I mean, I probably would have done the same thing to take less risk, right? Not to allocate the risk across the accounts, but yeah, solid work right there on catching that. So I'll be cleaning this up a little bit. If we do get a shift in trend and direction, then I'll be looking for some trades to the upside. However, right now we're still in a bit of a mixed market. So we do have a sweep over here, which filled earlier, guys. There you go, the sweep. So this is the confluence that a lot of people here used as entry for the orb. We identified the sweep right there, price swept up, went into the orb, and now we're going to watch as price continues to move along here. So if you guys are just joining in, the momentum breakout over here hit full TP for a sell. That was a full TP. And then the orb over here hit full TP as well for a buy. No other entries here right now. I'll be looking for some possible high-low break and retest, but I also would have to be waiting for my bias to really present itself. Right now, we don't have that bias confirmed, so I'll be waiting for this here to confirm, and then I'll start looking for some entries. We got price over here pushing up. Looks like we have another sweep from this area, and then price is coming right back down. So we'll see what happens here as price continues to move along. Here are Shiv's profits for the day. Oops, wrong place. So Shiv over here locked in 873 on his first account, 540 on the second, 540 on the third, 1,100 on the fourth, 1,620 on the fifth, and 1,620 on the seventh account. Nice work, Shiv, on all of those accounts right there. Here are my stats for the week so far, guys. I only took one trade, so I'm up 65,000 for the week. I made that trade on Tuesday, took the orb entry. My profits for the month so far is 124,300. And then my profits for the year so far, currently 706,530. So I've been pretty consistent with my conservativeness. I only took one trade for this week. Ideally, I would have wanted to take one trade today, but or the orb, of course, but it just didn't meet my criteria. So I'm just waiting for the next trade to appear. Once the next trade appears, I'll be looking for some opportunity here, possibly down here if price does come back below. So you can see here that price is pretty much just ranging between the zone right here, right? Every time price pushes out, it's a fake out. Price pulls below, fakes out right here, pulls back into the range. Price pushes up here, fakes out, pulls back into the range. So it's really hard to identify directional movements here at the moment, but it's just a matter of time until the entry does appear and we do have confirmation. So, all right, just got to be patient here. Just got to be patient. Nice. PC said sweep was orb conference for him. Yeah, solid. Yeah, I tend to use the sweeps too, but the overall bias for me was kind of mixed, so that's why I was kind of cautious about taking that as entry. So we got price coming back down right here, guys. If this is the case, we may have some opportunity here for a high-low break and retest. Again, like I said earlier, be careful because there's a lot of fake outs happening here. Whenever price pushes out, just fakes out back into the range. Price pushes above, fakes out back into the range. So what I'll be looking for here is possible continuation to the downside, break and retest off this lower low and drop lower because we do have open space over here. Next entry for or next target is going to be the New York low right here. So if we do get a break and retest below this point, possibly push down to this area right there where the New York low is sitting. All right, we're just getting to back and forth here, as you guys can see. Not too much going on. It is just back and forth right here between these two structures. So I'll just leave the structures here as is. Price is respecting it pretty much for the most part. Yeah, there's not too much direction here. Price is just going back and forth. So we have a new low here. This low has not been established yet, but if this low is established, this lower low right here is going to be mitigated. Or not mitigated, but it's not going to be the high low break and retest level because we need to use the most recent low. So we'll see. If this here continues to drop lower, this may be opportunity for price to continue dropping. If it doesn't, then we'll kind of just wait and see how price moves along here. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get more direction today because of this big drop over here from the PPI news. So let's go back and take a look at the calendar again real quick. So we had a lot of news here pre-market. Um, I don't know why is it showing all the countries now. I have it usually set to just US. There we go. Yeah, so we had PPI producer price index jobs data right here. It was all positive. So here's the tricky thing. The news here was all positive, but if you look over here on the candle, price dropped super heavily, right? So the PPI news over here spiked down about, yeah, 150 points. So this is why it's tricky because if we do have a correction here, price may push back up because we do have this all bullish news. We have gas stock change over here at 7:30, and that's the only other news event for today. All right, we got price kind of coming down here a little bit. Again, the overall trend and direction is a little bit mixed. Lower time frames are bearish, higher time frames are bullish. Looking over here at my screener, we currently have a bearish market structure for the 1 minute, neutral for the 5, neutral on the 15, bearish on the 30, bearish on the 1, and 4 hour here is bullish. So with that being said, looking over here at the overall trend right now, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, all bearish for the most part. 1 hour, 4 hour still bullish. So we have a little bit of a mixed bias here, but if this is the case and price continues to drop lower, we may have opportunity right here for a high low break and retest at 44,797. So I'll be looking at that for possible opportunity, 44,797. But I'll have to be looking at price action to make sure, or 44,798 actually. Yeah, so I'll have to look at price action here because I would need to see, an actual distinct push to the downside or retracement continuation lower. If we get the same thing that we saw earlier where it kind of bounces off it, like price will come down, sweep it a little bit, I probably won't be taking entry there because I don't want to be caught in a fake out, right? There's two things that may happen here. So if price does come down to this level at 44,798, we might have price to break below and retest and continue lower, or this might be the case where price comes down, fakes out, and pulls back into the range, right? We got two different scenarios there. Price is either going to fake out or it's going to come down lower. So we'll see what happens here. Again, we don't have much direction. Price is still going back and forth. We have a possible MPS V2 setting up right here as well. Thanks, Sam, for the heads up on that one. So we got price over here. If this red candle closes below the this area right here, this is going to be an MPS V2. Sell signal retracement MPS V2 right there. So this would be an entry for a sell if anybody's looking to take that MPS V2. For me, I'm still looking to see to take this as a high-low break and retest, but this here would also be an MPS V2 if that's something that you guys are looking for. I just don't like the wick. So you can see over here a lot of wick rejections on the bottom end. One second, guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to close the door. Yeah, PC said market manipulation is maxed out this week. I know it's been happening all week, so I've been very conservative with my entries. Um, yeah, again, right here, another sweep to the upside. You can see how price came down to this structure, swept right back up. Just a lot of manipulation here. Yeah, exactly. Sam said, yeah, but there is movement. Yeah, that's the key thing. So we're getting a lot of market manipulation here. You can see how price pushes up, fakes out, pulls back down, fakes out, comes back down, etc. The main meat of the market is right here down the middle right now. So I'm really just waiting for price to break out of this area and continue moving in the opposite direction, right? So like I'm looking for price to either break down below and drop lower, or I'm looking for price to break above and push up higher. If you guys are just joining in, we had two entries which came up today already for full TP. We had the momentum breakout for a sell here, full TP for 50 points, and then we had the orb entry over here, full TP for 40 points. So full TPs on both ends over here for the orb and for the momentum breakout. Um, yeah, solid wins there so far. For the scalps over here, we had a sweep, but nothing else from there. We're kind of just waiting for price to break out of this area. Yeah, Glenn said price has been testing 44,815 to 44,768 multiple times since yesterday. Yeah, I could see that because price has kind of been in this big range, right? Price has kind of just been going back and forth. Price will break out for a little bit and they'll go into a range. A lot of times these ranges will line up with the previous range from earlier this week. Sam said I'm sweeping like hell cold NQ, YM, all S stop loss sweeps profitable as long as risk reward is good. Yeah, definitely. I agree. In a market like this is a good time to take sweeps, right? Because we have market which is currently ranging back and forth. This is key for sideways entries. For me personally, I'm not really big on sideways entries. I'll take a sweep if it looks really, really good and it lines up with my analysis. But for the most part, I try to stick to directional and breakout entries. So, I mean, a lot of stuff here is still pointing towards bearish. Like looking over here at my other screeners, I still have a stronger bearish bias with regard to the 15 down to the 1 hour. Looking over here on my other screener as well, I have a bearish bias from the 1 minute down to the 30. So it's pointing more towards the downside for entries. So I'm probably gonna look for sells here, not really for some buys. Even if we do get price to push up to the upside, we do have a lot of red flags up here. We have the London high and the Asia low. Then we have the Asia low up here as well. So just a lot of things to look out for. Realistically, I'm waiting for price to just break out of this area here and continue lower. Otherwise, I'm not looking to take any trades down the middle right here. Right. There's no need to take any trades here down the middle. 650 right now, the volatility is starting to slow down a little bit. I'm hoping it picks back up, but right now it is still pretty slow. Good thing is the breakouts are hitting. So regardless of what's happening during, the middle of the market, the breakouts are hitting, so that's a good sign for both the momentum breakout and the orb. All right, we got a buy signal there. Price is pushing up. Again, price is staying within this area. If you're looking to take a buy here, guys, be careful because, another fake out can happen. See how price faked out right here? Price pushed out, faked out, pull back into the range. Same with what happened over here as well, right? Price pushed out, faked out, pull back into the range. So that could happen again. Price can push out right here, fake out, and pull back into the range. You just got to look at the patterns. The patterns tend to repeat themselves, and that's a pattern that's just been repeating itself this whole time. All right, we got price over here, pushing out of the range again. Be careful for that fake out. I'm not looking to take any buys here right now, at least not at this very moment, um, because the overall direction here is still very bearish with the lower time frames. The 1 minute shifting back up, but the 5 minute and 15 minutes still bearish, 30 minutes still like bearish neutral. 4 hour and 1 hour are bullish, so that's good with the push to the upside, but I don't have very many confluences here for a buy yet. All right, here we go as price pushes up higher. So again, look out for the fake out here. Possible fake out and pull back down below. There's two things that can happen here. Either price fakes out like that, pulls up, pulls back into the range. The other thing that can happen here is price can push above, break and retest this area, and climb up higher, right? Whenever you guys have a structure to look at, there's two things that'll typically happen: either break and retest or fake out and pull back into the range. I'm still not convinced to take any buys here yet, so I'm not looking to take that. Looking at my daily outlook for the day, overall market bias was bearish bias with medium conviction. Fundamentals leaned risk off after a hot PPI print and cautious Fed rhetoric. Technicals show neutral to slightly bearish structure with the key range. Conviction is medium because price is still inside a well-defined support resistance and can flip on intraday catalyst. So with that being said, the bias here is somewhat bearish, not like completely bearish, but somewhat bearish, right? Medium conviction. The alignment score is 7 out of 10. The agreement here is that both perspectives point towards short-term downside pressure, so possibly push to the downside short-term. Fundamentals and inflation surprise over here, plus strong labor data, is delaying aggressive Fed cuts. So, like a lot of people are talking about how the Fed may cut interest rates in September, right? That could be the case. Might not happen today or this month, but it might happen next month. Technicals plus inability to break above 45.63 with pressure towards 44,863 is key here because you can see how that price is trying to push above this area, but it just fails, right? It fails to do so. Right here again, it did exactly what I mentioned, right? It failed to break past it and it pulled right back into the range. That's why I said be careful with buys here. I'd look for sells here versus buys because the bias here is pointing towards sells. And this here again, just another confirmation here with the overall bias. So if you guys want to see this, I have this posted in the Discord. It's under the announcements. If you guys want to see exactly where it's at, it's right here under daily outlooks. I post these up every day for free, guys. This is just, it's beneficial for all of us here for you guys to have an idea where the overall market's going to be. You don't necessarily have to use it, directly, but I like to use it as a confluence. So this is another reason why I didn't take the orb for today because the bearish bias. I was convinced that price was going to come down, but price never really came down here. It came close to coming down, but didn't actually come down, right? The orb over here, price still has not came below this orb low. So, I mean, there's possibility for it to come back below it, but it just has not happened yet. All right, we're getting a strong bearish candle right here. Again, we have a new higher low right here. So what I'd be looking for right here is for price to break past this higher low, which is at 44,804. So break below, retest, continuation. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, exactly. Sam said news was positive for PPI. That's why I'm like kind of like thrown off right here because the news was all positive this morning, but it dropped like 200 points and it still has not corrected back up, right? So there's still a possibility that price can correct back up and push right back up to fill this gap or this big price movement to the downside. However, it doesn't necessarily have to, right? That can happen at some point later in the day. Um, right now, you can see price is kind of just sitting within this range. So I don't really like this market too much. If you guys do want to take trades here, obviously sweeps are going to be your best option. Sweeps or V1 variations, you're going to look for reversal patterns off structure, which we do have structure here, but um, it's not very useful here because we have structure below it, but it's not at these ranges. So if you're looking for sweeps, possible sweeps down here, fake out, pull back up. Again, right here, possible sweep, fake out over here, sweep back down. So we'll see. Right now, there's nothing for me to take at this moment. Things are starting to shift bearish again. You can see over here on the 1 minute, it's currently bearish, 5 minute, 15-minute neutral, 30-minute bearish, 1 hour bearish, 4 hour bullish. So again, I'm just looking for price to break out of this range, guys. I'm looking for price to either break above, continue climbing, or break below and continue dropping. We don't have anything here yet, but that is what I'll be looking for. All right, so things here are just getting tighter. This is what we call a squeeze. If you guys are not familiar with the squeeze, price is starting to squeeze down the middle right here, right? Whenever this happens and price squeezes, this just means that price is preparing for a breakout, right? As price gets, it starts with a big range, and the range gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Eventually, it's going to squeeze and it's going to break out to the upside or it's going to break out to the downside. So expect a breakout to happen at some point. I mean, it might not happen now, might happen in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but a breakout's going to happen eventually. This price here is getting squeezed, right? Eventually, it's going to break out to the upside or it's going to break out to the downside. The way I'm able to identify the squeeze is that I'm marking up these highs and these lows, right? High, low, high, low, high. No break outside, but continuation to the middle here. You don't really want to take trades during the squeeze like this because there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Price can really just, it can spike in either direction. You could be right with your analysis and price could still spike the other way just because the squeeze tends to lead to a lot of price manipulation. You know, a lot of these market makers, all these institutions, they're just waiting to see where majority of people are sitting, you know, wherever the sentiment is right now. Yeah, it's the volume sentiment right now is pretty mixed. It's not very one-sided. So we'll kind of see where that ends up going. Let's check something over here real quick. All right, we still don't have anything here, guys. Price is still kind of going back and forth, as you guys can see. Nothing here at all. So again, right there, another fake out sweep to the downside. So we'll see what happens here if price breaks above this area. So we got price which pushed up, faked out right here, swept basically at this lower high, and then it's kind of just going back and forth. So again, I'm looking for price to either break above and continue pushing up higher, I'm looking for price to push below and continue climbing down lower. Nothing here yet. Price here is still kind of just sitting down the middle. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see where this ends up going. Looks like price is pushing up a little higher. We'll see if we start to get a bullish direction here. All right, guys, not really much going on here. We got price breaking above this area. So like I mentioned earlier, we had this big drop from the PPI news. Looks like price is finally trying to push up and fill that big drop, right? Because the news here was all positive. So it's very unusual for price to drop like this, almost 200 points and no correction. The correction here is starting to happen. The thing that you want to be careful for here is that this correction can easily fake out. It's like what happened over here, right? Price looked like it was correcting right here, and then it came all the way back down. So price looks like it's now correcting again right here, but you want to be careful because this can be a possible fake out, right? Price can lure in buyers right here and then dump right back down. The typical trap here. So we have this here kind of pushed through, so I'll clean this up a little bit. I'm still not looking for any buys here at the moment because my overall bias is still not bullish. Looking over here, if it does shift to the upside, then okay, great. I'll start looking for some buys. But right now, the 1 minute's currently bullish, while the 5 minutes still bearish, the 15 minutes still bearish, 30 minute here is still on the neutral side. 1 hour and 4 hour are bullish. So that being said, 1 hour, 4 hour, and 1 hour all bullish here, while the other time frames are bearish neutral. So it's pretty mixed. You got the lowest time frame and the highest time frame, which is bullish, which is it's kind of a slippery slope there because if you guys start to chase this to the upside, things can easily shift right back down, right? This can be another fake out and pull right back into this range. So although the buys here do start to make sense, it is a little tricky because overall right now I'm looking at my screeners and it's still pretty bearish overall for the most part. I'm looking at one of my main screeners over here, which is going to identify trend strength, volatility, squeeze, sentiment. That over there is showing that it's still bearish on the 5 to 30 minute time frame. 1 minute's neutral, 1 hour is neutral, and 4 hour is bullish. With that being said, it hasn't shifted yet. Looking at the other screener that I'm using, which follows specific strategies, right now it's currently bullish on the 1 minute and 5 minute, but it's still bearish on the 15 to the 1 hour. So it's mixed right now. You can see over here on this screener as well. 1 minute, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minute, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is neutral. So you don't really have much to work with at the moment. But not to say that the buys here won't fill. Like I said, we have this big gap right here, right? This gap right here still needs to be filled. The price gap from the morning news right here at 5:30 is the PPI news. So I wouldn't be surprised here if this fakes out and it pulls right back down. Strong possibility. All right, looks like we will we'll see. Yeah, PC said PPI was actually bad. Higher PPI is negative for economy. Yeah, no, I agree. The PPI in general is bad, but it was better than expected. That's what I mean. Because we're looking for the market reaction, right? If it's better than expected, it should be bullish, right? But the actual, I mean not the actual, but the numbers here, you don't want it to be higher. I agree with you. The PPI here shouldn't be higher, but it was good for now because we don't care about the long-term aspect of like PPI, right? Long-term aspect, whatever, price can come down and be the case, but we're looking at how market reacts to the PPI news, which here was actually better than expected. That's why I was like, this here was a huge drop, but I was looking for it to correct back, which is what's happening here. Huge drop right here, consolidation for a bit, correction right here back up. Yeah, and Sam over here also mentioned, actual greater than forecast is good for currency PPI. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So for it's good. It's a balance, right? Because obviously you don't want inflation to be up for the consumers, but for the producers, that's good because they're making money. So like I think that's where you kind of like mix it up to PC because CPI, no, CPI, Consumer Price Index, that's where you don't want it to go up. For PPI, you don't really care because that's for the companies. It's Producer Price Index. So they're the ones that are selling. Um, obviously even if they're up, they're making more money, just like what Sam mentioned. So I don't know if like that's what you were referring to because it doesn't really pass through to I mean, they're different. CPI is Consumer Price Index, PPI is Producer Price Index. That's why for me, usually I don't really follow PPI. PPI doesn't usually have a big spike like this. If you guys have been following, there's like four news events that typically will cause big spikes in market price. It's going to be NFP, of course, because that's going to affect the economy in general, plus jobs data. So NFP, of course, is going to be the big one out of all of them. The second biggest one is going to be CPI. The third biggest one is PPI, but I'll always put that one below CPI. And the fourth one is going to be Fed, right? Interest rate news. So only interest rate news is on the lower end because it doesn't have an effect every month, right? A lot of times it's unchanged. It changes maybe a few times a year, like four times a year at most. Anyways, price is still pushing up right here, guys. I don't have a confirmation here to take any buys. 710 right now, so we still have some time in the market, but I'm not really looking to take any buys here at the moment. So we got price pushing up. With this being the case, I may clean up this structure. I might not clean up right now, but eventually I'll probably clean this up a little bit, just to kind of give us better aspects of where price is kind of like, sitting for the most part. Here, what I'll do here is let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. I'll probably just leave it here for now. Yeah, I'll leave the structure down below because we don't really, price is too far from it, but it is pushing up higher as we speak. I guess I could clean this up a little bit right here. So got one right there, one right there. So I had one big zone here. I just broke it into two smaller ones. So you can kind of identify the flow of market. So price kind of pushed up right here, retested, pushed up higher, retested. So basically this resistance turns into support. So support, break and retest, support, break and retest, and push up from there even further. Yeah, PC said producers making more money can be direct effect from tariffs. Higher PPI makes yield rise, which in turn can make market go lower. Wall Street's very bullish right now, so I have a bullish pre-market bias. All manipulation. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't really care about the news PC. I just care about how market reacts to it. That's why like fundamentals, they don't really matter as much because the tariff news happens like every day basically, right? Trump has some new tariffs that he's putting out. So it doesn't really matter like where the fundamental bias is because the PPI news can be over here or the CPI news can be over here. But if the tariff news comes out over here, it doesn't matter. It's going to affect it one way or the other. So that's why for me, I don't really care too much about that stuff. I'm mainly just looking here on the short term. But yeah, I agree with you. It's all manipulation. I say this every time. Price is basically baked into all these news events. News events happen. It's like everything here is planned, right? Trump is usually quiet for a bit, and all of a sudden he comes out with the new tariff news. It's all baked in. That's how I see. We're like in a circus right now. Um, but it does create volatility in the market. So that's the good thing, right? If it keeps the market volatile, then great. I hated when Biden was president and it was just so slow. At least now we have volatility. So it's not even about politics. It's about like how it affects the market. Because I didn't care who was president. I just cared that the market was volatile so we can take these trades here in the morning. Otherwise, during the Biden era, it was pretty much flat all throughout the year. Yeah, I think last year and the year before that, or like whenever Biden was president, that was like some of the slowest trading years that I had because there's just a lot of times where there's no entries or we got caught in a lot of chop. Yeah, MA said the news was negative. It showed that inflation went up way higher than anticipated, so it lowered the chance of dropping the interest rate in the next Fed meeting. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one. Because a lot of people were talking about how there was going to be an interest rate cut in September. I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly, I don't know if that's going to happen. It might push out until October, actually. So they were calling for like multiple interest rate cuts. I don't think there's going to be too many. There might be maybe two interest rate cuts for the rest of the year. And it's probably going to be really small, maybe a quarter, maybe half. Most likely a quarter. All right, Christian. Christian said he's done for the day, so we'll see you back here tomorrow, Christian. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. We still don't have anything for us to take at the moment. I mean, price here is still kind of going back and forth. Looking over here at my overall bias, let's take a look at the trend again. Overall trend over here is still pretty bearish on the lower time frame. So the 1 minute here is starting to shift back down. If that's the case, then so be it. We'll start looking for price to continue to push in this direction. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, still bearish. 30 minute bearish neutral. 1 hour, 4 hour bullish. Looking over here at my screener is a little mixed right now. So we have 1 minute, which is bearish, 5 minute, which is bullish, 15, which is neutral, 31 hour bearish, 4 hour neutral. So we still don't have much here to work with, but we'll play it by ear, right? We're gonna continue to see if we can catch something here, but if we don't, I'm not going to force any trades. Again, look at the fake out that I mentioned earlier, guys. So I said be careful for some bias here because price is likely to fake out and pull back into the range, right? Fake out right here, pull back into the range. Same thing right here, price pulled out, faked out, pull back into the range. And then again, right here, price pulled out, consolidated for a bit, possible fake out, pull back into the range. Right, so I'd expect this to pull back into this lower area here. It's a matter of time until it does, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. Um, Ideally, if I want to take some entries here, I would need price to break below this point down lower. We don't have that here, but that's kind of what I'd be looking for. So there's another sweep right here. The sweep basically happened off this higher high. It faked out, swept off that level, and pulled lower. So this is a liquidity sweep right here. I didn't take this trade, but I'm just using it as a confluence. So if we have that sweep right there, I can use that as confluence to identify a further push to the downside. Right. Possibility right there. Yeah, PC said I don't think a rate cut is happening. The only reason to cut rates right now is so the Fed can lock in lower long-term rates to help decrease our long-term debt. That's why Trump is pressing Powell. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, PC. That's like the only reason for it, and that's why I don't see it happening, especially if Powell is still in charge. Like he's pretty sturdy on like making the right decision. So yeah, Sam said if Powell survives, yeah, if he survives and doesn't get fired, there's not going to be any cuts. If someone new comes into play, then yes, there may be some cuts happening. Um, but I don't expect anything happening anytime soon. We might not even get one in October. We're going to get one by the end of the year. I know that's going to happen. And it's probably going to be a quarter cut, which is nothing. So, but here's the thing, like usually the cuts don't happen in the winter, right? So it's got to happen in October. If it doesn't happen next month, it's going to have to happen in October, November, which I think will happen. It's not going to happen in December. They don't do cuts during the holidays usually, or not that I remember at least. For as long as I've been trading, they don't do cuts during Christmas or Thanksgiving. So October 1st, or not October 1st, mid-October or mid-November, expect a cut to happen. All right, let's see. Sam is watching 44,876 for a sweep. Okay, off the structure right here. Basically a retest of the structure. You can see that. Looks like we're starting to get a new consolidation range up here. So we had this consolidation range, which was happening down here. As I mentioned, this was like the meat of the market. Looks like we might be getting a new consolidation range here. We got price pushing up right now. Got a buy signal right there. All right, if you guys want to take this as a high-low break and retest, I mean, this could be a possible entry for you guys. Again, there's a lot of red flags right here. We have the Asia low, London high right here. Possible high-low break and retest right there at that level. All right, we'll see what happens here, but this is going to be a possible high-low break and retest right there off that higher high. It's not one that I'm looking to take. My overall direction and trend and bias is still not confirmed for a buy here. It's still for a sell, but price has not been coming down. I'm looking over here at my screeners. My screeners are pretty mixed all over the place. Lower time frames are bullish, and the higher time frames to middle time frames are still bearish. So I mean, if anything, price might just stay here sideways. All right, we got price coming right back down right here. All right, looks like we got price coming right back down into this lower range. So like I said earlier, be careful taking these buys here because the overall direction is still bearish. So I'm not convinced to take buys here. If anything, I'm looking for price to come back down, take some sells. This is a possible high-low break and retest, but like I said, the confirmation here isn't really confirmed, so I wouldn't necessarily just hop into a sell just because. I'd be looking for some sort of confirmation. There's a break and close past this lower low. This candle here did not retest this lower low, so there's no high-low break and retest there. There could have been one here possibly if price came down, retested and came down lower, but the retest over here never happened, so no entry there. What I'm going to be looking for here is for price to continue dropping lower, right? So maybe come down into this range, lower, lower, lower. But as of now, we don't have anything here. Looks like here that price just basically did a huge fake out. So basically fake out. I'll show you guys again. So market pulled into the range right here. Price came down, faked out from here, faked out from here, rejection, fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out. Came up here, it looked like price was going to flip, faked out, pulled back into the range. So we're back to where we were earlier, right? I mentioned earlier that this is the meat of the market. Everything that goes out of this area right here, so anything outside here is fake out, basically. And then price tends to just it gravitates right back to this middle area, which is the opening price, right? The New York Open, this blue line. So whenever price pushes away, it comes right back to this blue line. Price pushes below, pulls right back to the blue line. Price pushes away, again, right back to the blue line. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We got a new structure up here. It's higher high. Or actually from this lower high right here. So new structure right there. I could clean this up, but I think I'm gonna leave it here for now. This is kind of like the big range now, this whole area. But I'll leave this here because this does help a lot with identifying structure in the middle. All right, so here goes. Price comes back down. You guys can see from my screener, a lot of things here are starting to turn bearish again. So I'm still looking for sells here. I would just need to have some sort of confluence for me to take that. There's an MPSV2, which is currently running right here. Sell signal, retracement on this green candle, confirmation on this red. So this right here is an MPSV2 for anybody who's looking to take that there. I wouldn't really take it because it's in this middle range, but if you want to take that trade there, you could have taken it for a smaller move. The ATR is currently at 22. So if you wanted to take this for a smaller move, like a 22.22 or even a 20.20, looks like the trade there is about to hit its target. And full TP right there if you took that for a 20-point move. 20-point or 22-point, 25 points, just up to your own preference, but I would base it off the ATR. All right, so back in this middle range here now, guys, as price continues to come down lower, again, I'm going to be looking for some sort of confirmation for me to take any sells here. We don't have anything here yet, but I'll be looking for price to come down, establish a low, come back up, break below it, retest, drop lower from there. Looking for the same pattern, guys. Every time I'm looking for an entry, I'm looking for either this pattern to the upside or I'm looking for this pattern here to the downside. I'm not married to one position, right? That's the main thing. You don't want to be stuck in one direction. You gotta be able to flow with the market. Market shifting, you shift with the market. Nice work, Sam. I'm catching that there. Yeah, PC said it's always very risky trading within big news candles. Be cautious. I agree. That's why for me personally, I wouldn't really want to take the buys here. I like for price to kind of just push out of this area. So what I'm looking for here ideally is for price to push away from here and just create a new direction, right? This whole area right here down the middle. So basically from this whole upper area to this lower area, all of these, wherever these zones are marked up, um, I don't really want to trade within this middle area. I want price to go away from it. So I'd look to take some entries like down here because whatever happens here in the middle is typically a lot of manipulation. That's kind of what's confirmed here as well. price stays within this little barrel of price movement and it just stays there. So I don't want to trade within this middle area right here. I want price to get out of it. All right, waiting game continues. There's a fair value gap right here, I think. Yeah, small one right here. Basically from this low down to this structure right here. Basically a break and retest of this fair value gap. Not one I would take, but that's just kind of what I see right now. All right, here we go. As price kind of just sits down at this area. If you guys have any questions or you want me to analyze anything specific, feel free to hop into the chat. There's not much going on, so if you want me to look at something, feel free to let me know. Overall, the direction right now is still pretty mixed, so I'm not really looking to take anything at this very moment. All right, we got to push back up right here. What a boring market. So let's measure where price has kind of gone from yeah, let's see where price has gone from open here. So this is opening price, this blue line. Let's measure it from here. It hasn't gone too far. It hasn't even pushed 100 points. So the farthest price is pushed away from open here is about 94 points. Where it's currently at, it's only pushed about 47 points. So we haven't really pushed out of this area since open. Um, this is a good way to identify if like market is actually moving, right? It's not moving today. So we'll look at this. So this again, market open at 6:30 over here. And price is only pushed down about 55 points and it's only pushed up about 90 points. Right now, price is currently sitting away from opening price about 50 points. This isn't typically how like YM would move, right? Usually if YM opens, it pushes away from it. So typically right here, market opens at 6:30, you're looking for price to kind of push away from the opening price, either whether it's above or whether it's below. This over here, price hasn't done much. It will push away from it and it pulls right back to the open. So yeah, not too much. Sam said he's done for the day. Trump's speaking today also. Let me check. I need to check Forex Factory because he's usually listed on here. Yeah, Trump's speaking at 10 o'clock. I think this is why the market here is pretty flat. I think everybody's kind of just waiting for Trump to speak. This is kind of what happened the other day when Trump was speaking as well. A lot of people are just scared of like what's he going to say to cause, market to move. Because Trump did speak a couple days ago, and like nothing happened until he spoke. And once he started speaking, the market started moving. So I'm pretty sure he's going to say the same thing. He's going to say that he's pressuring Powell to introduce cuts or pressuring the Fed in general. He's going to talk about tariffs, and he's going to talk about There's just a lot of things that he's going to be talking about that might seem kind of random, but like we talked about, it's all baked in. So looking at this here again, guys, my screeners are looking for a bearish move again. So over here, the 1 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, all bearish, 5, 15, 4 hour neutral. Um, Price here just has not came down. So again, I'm looking for price to really come below for me to take the entry here. But right now we just don't have that. So I would need price to break below this area, retest, and come further. It's not looking like that's going to be the case. Looks like price here again is just going back and forth between this area. Yeah, not much. Looking over here at the overall trend, the 1 minute's pretty all over the place. So you can see over here on the 1 minute price is currently above the pivots. Trend meters green, pivots are angling up, but it shifts pretty often. Price will come down, come back up, come back down. The thing that you want to look at is the higher time frames here. So if you look over here on the 5 and the 15 minute, right here, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because over here, price is bearish. So what I would look for is a flip back to the downside and then continuation in that direction. Not the case now, but we'll keep looking for it here. If you guys are just joining in, a couple entries came up today, guys. We had the momentum breakout, full TP over here for a sell. The orb over here, full TP for a buy. So 40 points for the orb, 50 points for the momentum breakout. And then for the scalps over here, it's just a bunch of sweeps. So we had a sweep right here, MPSV2 right here. Just small entries, but there hasn't really been much direction. I mean, you can see here, it's pretty obvious. This is why I mark up the structure so that you guys can kind of see how market structure actually is. So we got a small range right here, another small range right here. If you want to look at this as a big range, I can just delete this right here. And you can see we have a big range right here down the middle for the most part. So that's pretty much that for right now. Again, if you guys have any questions, hop in the chat. Otherwise, I'll keep looking for opportunities, but there's just nothing here. All right, nothing going on. All right, literally nothing's happening right now. Price is just going sideways. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we will continue to follow along here. All right, we don't got much going on, guys. Price is just going sideways here. We're not even getting any directional moves at all. So we're currently sitting right here in between the structure. Price is just going back and forth. So you guys can see whenever price pulls out of this area, it's a fake out, right? Price goes back and forth. So just be careful for the when price pushes out of it. Price pushes away from here, fake out back below. Price pushes up here, fake out below. Price pushes down here, fake out back above. So there's not much here to work with. It's a dead market, like Sam mentioned. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. 1000% dead market right now. We do have Trump speaking at 10 o'clock, so that might be the thing. Like we've seen in the past, whenever Trump's speaking, a lot of people are just out of the market. Out of the market, the volatility is pretty low. I mean, you could even see right here. So if you look at my screener down below, the volume right now in the 1 minute, it's extremely low, right? It's under 1,000. So the buy order block volume, very low. Sell order block volume, very low. There's just nothing here to work with at the moment. We'll keep watching though. I mean, I'm not completely done, obviously not completely done here, but we'll see. I'm like I was like, man, I wish I would have taken that orb because I wouldn't be so finicky right now, right? Just kind of waiting for this here. For a lot of you guys who did take the orb, that was a pretty solid entry. It was just against the overall bias, so I didn't take it for the buy earlier. But would have been nice to just be out of this, right? This choppiness right now. So there was an MPS V2 that came up right here. We had a buy signal and price retraced right here, confirmed on this one. So this was an MPS V2. I don't know if I'd go for the full 40, probably based off the ATR. So like a 2020 might have worked better here. And that is an MPS V2 for those of you who are looking to take that as an entry. So the entries are still hitting. They're just not entries that I would personally take because they don't line up with my confluence. If anything, the buyers might come into control here. If you look at my screener below, the 1 minute's currently 1 minute's currently bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is neutral right there as well. So we're kind of just following through and watching for something here to happen. But again, price has just been consolidating and ranging within these two levels right here that I'm waiting for price to break above and actually hold the area. So this right here is a possible high-low break and retest. Yeah, possible high-low break and retest right here off this lower high. Not one that I would personally look to take because, like I said earlier, my overall bias and trend is still not bullish, right? The 1 minute's bullish, but the 5 minute here is not bullish yet. 15 minutes not bullish. 30 minute here is not bullish. 1 hour and 4 hours bullish, but that's a little too high on the time frames. I want these lower time frames here to be bullish before I look to take those types of entries. So we'll again, we'll just kind of wait and see here. There's nothing going on. So it's just a matter of time here. But like, we all said this is kind of a dead market right now, so just hanging out. All right, we'll see here. See what's next. All right, we got price pretty much. All right, back to our chart, guys. Not much going on here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to get into the chat, ask me whatever you like. I'm here to help you guys out. 7:43 right now. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock. My cutoff for trading is 8 o'clock. So as we get closer to that time, I'm going to be less and less likely to take any positions. Yeah, PC said probably going to get more expansion tomorrow, Sesh. Yeah, and I agree with that too. I think we're going to get more of a directional move. I mean, realistically, again, if we measure where prices move from opening price right here, we haven't really had any movement, right? Typically, we have at least 100 points out of the way, right? Price has not moved 100 points, and market's been open for an hour and a half almost, which is crazy because like you would expect the market to move, especially after the PPI data like that. It looks like, yeah, basically the market moved here at PPI data, and then it just got super flat. If you measure this, so that this is the PPI candle right here. The PPI candle was 152 points. We had more movement on this one minute candle right here compared to what we had this entire session for the past, hour and a half. So it just goes to show that there's just not much here to work with. There's no need to force anything here. Um, yeah, there's just no reason to force anything here. So this here is the movement from that news candle. And if you put it side by side with like the market right now, it doesn't even move that much in an hour, right? We had that much movement in 1 minute or less than a minute versus what's been happening here for an hour, not even that much of a movement. And that was one direction, not back and forth. You can see here, it's just sitting right here down the middle, guys. No need to force anything down here. Again, if you want to take a trade, I would wait for price to break above this area and stay above here. Or if you're looking for some sells, I would look to break below here and stay below this point as well. Just nothing there yet. Yeah, Sam said I think tomorrow popcorn and with Trump and Putin. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of turmoil that's gonna happen over the next. We'll see. I mean, Trump's gonna speak today, so we'll see how everybody else reacts to Trump today. Whether it be Putin, whether it be China, whether it be Xi, anybody really. It's like everyone against Trump. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. So again, right here, there's another sweep off this lower high. You guys can see right there. Basically another sweep right there off that lower high. 20 points, I'd say. I mean, even 40. So you guys can see, this is what I told you guys about earlier, right? If you're looking for entries, the sweeps are going to be your best friend because that's kind of what's happening here. We got price reaching these areas. Once price gets to the extreme, it just sweeps right away. So sweep right here, MPSV2 right here, MPSV2 right here, sweep right there, and then price here is still pushing up higher. So if that's the case, then that's fine. Um, this is a possible high-low break and retest. I don't think it'll come down and retest this area, but this is a possible high-low break and retest. And then possibly another MPSV2 setting up right here. So we're getting a slow roll to the upside, but this is basically filling this big news candle right here. See this huge candle? Price is finally making its way back up to fill that movement. Sam said 960 approaching, not trading, but watching the sell. So Sam's looking for price to sweep off the 960, which is also aligned with my Asia low right here. Right. So we do have price pushing above right here. No entries for us to take. This could be a possible MPSV2 setting up, but nonetheless, no entries here at the moment. Let's check to see if the trend has finally shifted. So we're getting a slight shift over here in the trend. As you guys can see, we have the 1 minute, which is now above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. Same with the 5 minute over here. You can see here that price is now above the pivots. The trend meter is finally starting to turn green, and the pivot is starting to angle to the upside. 15 minute over here as well. No confirmation, but price is still bearish at the moment. So we're starting to get a shift here on the 1 minute, 5 minute. 15 is still straggling along, but it's not confirmed yet. 30 minute as well. Price is switching above. Trend meter is turning green. Pivots are angling up. So everything is starting to switch back to a bullish direction, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, 15 minute here is lagging back a little bit, but it's eventually probably gonna push above as well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Um, yeah, it's not really much here. For the orb over here, you can see price pretty much came back, retested the orb a couple times, and then ended up flying right back up further. If anything, buys could be valid here. The only problem with this is that we have the sessions here, which is a bunch of red flags, and we got more red flags up here, but we do have a lot of liquidity. So if price continues to climb up higher, it'll probably come up and grab all this liquidity up here. Strong possibility. Might not happen now, but it might happen later once Trump starts speaking. All right, and here we go. As price comes right back down. All right, we got price coming back down. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna be wrapping this up pretty soon, guys. 7:51 right now. We got 9 minutes till 8. Not really expecting much to happen here from now until then. So I would have looked to take the buys here. Price stayed above, but wasn't the case. Price is now pulling back into this lower range. All right. That'll be 8 o'clock soon. So, all right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. It's 7:52 right now. There's not really much to take here. This is probably a good time to just cut out because you don't want to be forcing yourself to take anything here if nothing's on the chart. Obviously, there's nothing happening here. Price is trying to climb up, but price just continues to come right back down. So if you look again over here, let me just show you guys the structure that I had marked up earlier. So earlier this morning, we were stuck within this middle structure down below here, right? I said if price pushes out, watch out for those fake outs. And that's literally what happened. Price pushed out, fake out, fake out, fake out. Again, same thing is happening here. We're just at a higher structure. So same thing here, price is now in this middle structure. But every time price pulls out of it, you guys can see the fake outs here, right? Fake out above, fake out below, fake out above, and it just comes right back into this middle area down here. So if you are looking to take entries, I would probably just stick to sweeps. So meaning when price pulls out of this area, catch the sweep back down, right? Or price pushes below this area, catch the sweep back up. So. Or you can just sit out of the market. For me personally, I wouldn't even take anything in this market. There's no need to force anything, like I said, right? Here are the trades for today, guys. We had the momentum breakout come up for a full TP, 50 points. We had the orb come up over here, full TP for 40 points. For our scalps, we had a sweep, sweep, MPSV2, MPSV2 sweep, um, and another MPSV2, which is currently running right now here for a buy. So those are the entries that came up for the day. I didn't take any entries, so I'm pretty much flat for the day. Here are my stats for the week so far. I took only one trade on Tuesday. That trade hit full TP for an orb. So I locked in 65,000 on Tuesday. That's how much I'm up currently this week. For the month so far, I'm currently up 124,300. And for the year so far, these are my yearly stats. Year to date from January 2nd up until today. I'm currently up 706,530 gross, 609,832 net. So pretty decent year so far overall. You guys can see we went pretty well from January up until April. Then the tariff news came out and we kind of went back and forth for a couple months. And then July came right back up. And from July up until August, we're in a nice upwards momentum here. So my main goal here is really to just lock in good trades, right? I'm looking for the good A plus type entries, and that's why I'm conservatively looking for entries here. I'm not necessarily jumping into everything that I see. So that's the goal there, stay consistent, stay conservative, and live to trade another day. I think that's the biggest part with trading. A lot of people blow accounts too quickly. Your goal shouldn't be to chase trades. Your goal should be to wait for the trades to come to you and manage your risk properly, and you should be fine in the long term. But I think that's going to be it, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, today was a pretty decent day overall. It wasn't a good day, but it was a decent day. There were still entries, but they were very tricky because there wasn't much of a bias. So. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow as we continue on with this week. And hopefully we can finish out this week strong. For tomorrow, we don't really have much news, I don't believe. We have news pre-markets. We have retail sales, import sales, export sales, stuff like that. That's going to happen again pre-market. But then once the market actually opens up, we don't have too much here, aside from Michigan consumer sentiment at 7 o'clock. So. Hopefully that will cause price to move directional. Otherwise, pretty much gonna be playing it safe. So, all right, guys, that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.